Hello, everyone. Good morning and happy Tuesday. I should also say happy October. Can you believe it? It's October 1st. So, welcome to another month in this fast fall season that is upon us. So, I decided to break out my fall sweaters today. I still have my flip-flops on, which I will hang on to until the very end. Until there's snow on the ground, you'll probably find me in my flip-flops. They're just so much more comfortable. So, hello. I'm glad you're joining today. Let me know in the comments that you are hopping on. I would love to say hello to some people and hear what you've been up to. What did you do last weekend? Any fun fall activities that you usually do for the season? I know Charlie was saying she went to the orchard with her family over the weekend, so that's always a fun one to do in the fall. We've just been enjoying some time outdoors. It was a beautiful weekend. It didn't really feel like fall. 80 degrees it's been for the last several days, which definitely is not typical fall weather here. But today, in Iowa fashion, we are back down in the 60s. Maybe we might hit 70 today, so it was a perfect day to break out my fall sweater. Hello, let's say hi to some people. Hi, Dawn. Linda's here. Jan, definitely chilly in Colorado Springs. Tiffany's in Dayton, Ohio. Hello, Amy. Roxanne in Southern Oregon. Hi, Susan in Southern California. You went to the pumpkin patch and picked out your pumpkins. So that's been fun to see driving around the neighborhoods here. Some families are already starting to carve or paint their pumpkins. Are you a pumpkin painting family or a pumpkin carving family or neither? Tell me in the comments. Whitney, what are you guys? Are you guys pumpkin painting, carving, or neither?
I just set the pumpkins on my front porch and I'm like, that's good. We did it.
We did it. We bought the pumpkins and we set them on the porch and everything's great. Yeah, that isn't a tradition that we really grew up with. I don't remember carving pumpkins as a kid, and so that's probably why we haven't carried that on. We also don't carve pumpkins. Some years we painted pumpkins, but I'm with you, Whitney. Usually I buy the pretty pumpkins and set them on my porch until the end of the season, and then we do it all over again the next year. So, hello, Tammy. Good morning, Tina. Going to be a hot day in California. Yes, we have to remember our Californian friends. This time of year, I know we're kind of wrapping into fall, and you guys are like in the heat of the summer. And I really only know that because I used to live there, so it can get really hot in September. Hopefully you start to get some cooler temperatures here in October. All right, well, we are going to talk about gratitude today, which is one of the things we often think about as we come into Thanksgiving season. We give thank you cards, but there's something that really we should be thinking about all year long. Ways to show gratitude for all the many ways that people help us in our lives. And so today I am going to be making a note card set that is going to give the gift of gratitude to someone else. I have chosen a recipient who for now will remain nameless. I will tell you guys when I show you the project. But I am going to make a set of note cards that I can gift to someone. They are all thank you cards, and then they can then use those cards to share with others in their life, which I think is a great way as card makers to pass on our handmade creations. Not everyone makes cards, but a lot of people love giving handmade cards. So making that set as a gift that you can give to someone else, to give to someone else, to give to someone else is like passing along the love, sharing more joy, right? All right, well, let's get started. We do have a little special offer today, a promotion, if you will, so we are going to talk about that. But also I mentioned it is October 1st, which means a new freebie at Tailored Expressions. So I'm going to talk about that one. If I can put you guys down here, you're going to see some samples as I get these out of the way. I'll talk more about them as we talk about some of the new things we are offering today, but let's talk about that freebie first.
I have all the squeals for the freebie. I'm like, just stop. I needed this freebie so bad.
I mean, everything is cuter when it's mini, right?
Yes!
So this is the freebie for October. When you purchase $100 or more from our website, this will be included in your order. It does show up in your cart, so if you have a qualifying order of $100 or more, it will be listed in your cart. So if there's any reason why you think it should be there and it's not, then definitely contact customer service. But this is called Teeny Cards.
Yay!
Oh, they're so cute. They're teeny. Or if you prefer, you could call them T-eeny, like T-E with eeny on the end. T-eeny cards. So here they are. They are small in size. So 2 1/4 is the measurement of a folded card. In this set, you get 2 card designs. One has a scalloped border and the other has that postage stamp border. And then you can fold those in half. There is a score line at the top that's going to help you fold those perfectly. And then there are 2 layering dies that you can use to add a layer to those cards. Of course, you can also grab some of our other dies, or you can cut your own layers as well. Then we have just a couple of images included in this set. There are lots of fun things in our collection that I can't wait to see what you guys place inside this little kind of focal piece on the card. But we have a Christmas tree and then a present, which would be great for birthdays or for Christmas. This is really the time of year when we are gifting small things like maybe a little bag of candy, and you can put your little Halloween thing on there, or maybe you're gifting your favorite pretzel mix for the holidays and you can put the Christmas tree on there. Or you're going to a baby shower and you need to just tie a little tag on it that says to from, and you can do that with these cute little cards. Now, Susan will be live this Thursday, and she will be featuring T-eeny cards. So she will, I just called it T-eeny cards again. It's just the way it's going to come out of my mouth. So she will be featuring teeny cards on Thursday, so she'll have even more inspiration for you. And one thing I haven't mentioned is that these do also work with our postage collection. So if you're collecting the monthly freebie, we had a new one happen or start today. It's a cute little spider for the month of October. These Jill Hawkins created. How cute are these with our little postage freebies? And Susan is going to do the honors this time and put the sticker on our panel on Thursday. So I told her that was okay with me. I know it's one of my favorite things that I do every month, but
sharing is caring.
I know. I thought she should get a little bit of joy out of doing that. So she's going to do that on Thursday with the October freebie. Let me show you a few other of the cards that Jill created. This is a set of cards on toffee cardstock. Love these. These are all holiday themed, and I dropped one. She used a few other items from our collection that work great. You can see our little coin dies that were our every order freebie from last year. This is the present and the Christmas tree from the set, from the Teeny Cards set, and then the other 3 feature the coins. So there are lots of things you probably have in your collection that you can decorate these little cards with, write your little message inside, and tie them onto whatever you happen to be gifting this season. So super cute. I love it.
Need it.
Mindy joined you with an eek adorable. So, all right, so that's Teeny Cards. Let's talk about what I was saying earlier is we do have a promotion happening this week as we focus on the gift of gratitude. And when you purchase $50 or more from our thank you category, you will receive the Insider's Thank You for free. And this is a set we created exclusively for this week. It is not available for purchase, so the only way you can get that is by grabbing some of your favorites from that thank you category. In order to find what is eligible for that promotion, you would go to the navigation bar and click Filter Products by Occasion and Thank You. And all of those products in there qualify for the freebie. Also, when you add things to your cart, when you reach the promotion level, the insiders will automatically add to your cart. So again, if you think you should be getting it and you don't see it in your cart, then definitely reach out to us before you place your order. So, all right. Now, let's take a look at some new products today.
Yes!
Yes, we also have a few new products. So we are, focusing on previously released thank you products, but this one is too good to keep back any longer. So you might recognize this if you joined us for Virtual Stamp Joy this spring. It was part of the products that you could purchase if you chose. It was part of our early release, and now it's being made available for everyone. So we have the All Together A Note of Thanks stamp, as well as the coordinating die and the foilet panels. And this is what I'm going to be using on my project today. If you want to purchase the bundle, it is $50 for all of those items. We have them grouped together for you for convenience. And let me go ahead and get you back down here, and I'll show you some of those things live in person. So we have, this is the A Note of Thanks bundle. And it includes those 3 products that I just mentioned. So that one stamp has all of the sentiments together. There are 5 large words. They all say thanks. And then there are several small add-ons that you can add to the word thanks. So you can say a note of thanks, many thanks, thanks so much, thanks for your kindness. And then all of these get cut out with the coordinating die. So if you see what that looks like, it's cutting out those 5 large words. We also have some kind of sentiment strips with little details on the end of them. Some of the ends are bracketed, others are pointed, and they cut out those add-on words so that you can kind of combine the large words with the small phrases. We also added a few other things because there was open space in this die set. There are some hearts and there's a big flower in there as well. So if you're wondering, those don't actually coordinate with anything, but they'll cut out of your cardstock, whatever color you did, and you can use them on your projects if you want to. So here is then the All Together A Note of Thanks foilet, and you get 12 of the same design that's part of the stamp. So if you like to foil, you can foil these and die cut them using the same alignment squares on the die and the stamp. So everything coordinates perfectly together. So there's that. Just make sure you check out the your catalog of products. Make sure you didn't already purchase that during Virtual Stamp Joy. Otherwise, it is new to our catalog for everyone. Let's see. Mary asked about gift cards from online. Can you only use those online? Yes, online gift cards are for online use only. If you purchased it online, it needs to be used online. But if you're planning to come to the store, I think we've worked something out before where we can transfer the value of your gift card to something that you can use in the store. So you can always reach out about that as well. Okay, let's take a look at some samples then. Again, you might recognize some of these because we shared them during Stamp Joy, and we have a few of those to share with you today. You can see this one has a foiled sentiment, and it's just foiled in black, which makes this really striking for these colorful rainbow cards. And then during Virtual Stamp Joy, you might remember Happy Half Sheets was one of our big new concepts, and so we have some of those thanks dies kind of adorning this set of thank you cards using the Happy Half Sheets maps. I love how that turned out. Heather created these. And then, let's see, we have another Happy Half Sheet from Lori. Let me see if I can grab the right ones that all go together here. And Lori's particular Happy Half Sheet map had 5 layouts in it. So these are the cards that she created using the stamped pattern paper that she created. And then again, there are 5 sentiments in the set, so she was able to get one for every card. And then Lori used it again on this fun card. This was one that has a little bit of a wreath effect around the sentiment. That pretty botanical blooms, I think it's called, or blooming botanical, yes, is that 3D embossing folder in the background. I love that. Love that. And then last we have a new one from Sue. So Sue is newer on our team and she hadn't used this product yet. So she decided to take it for a ride using the foilet, and she used some fun new things that she did. If you guys can see here, you see how thick these little dots are, but they're also foiled on top. So she took our foil sheets. No, I'm sorry, not foil sheets. Foam sheets. Okay, that was a hard word to get out for a second there. She took our foam sheets and put foil over the top. Because our foam sheets are sticky, the foil sticks to it, and when you peel back the foil, it creates these fun little embellishments. Then you can die cut that foil or foam sheet into whatever shape you want, and she has some that are squares, and then she used circles to cut out the other pieces and just kind of dotted those around. But I think the dimension is really fun on that, and getting all that fun rainbow in there is great too. So
adorable.
Love that. All right, that's all I have for samples today. Let me pull out, because I haven't showed you this yet, I'm going to pull out the Insiders Thank You. This is our exclusive that's available when you purchase $50 from the category. And love these. There's 12 panels in here, and you get 2 of each of the sentiments. So if you imagine the front of the card says, thank you, pretend this card is a big, giant hug. Thank you. You are a fantabulous person that I can't live without. Everyone should be lucky enough to have someone like you. Some people are simply amazing. And by some people, I mean you. You are next level awesome. And I am beyond grateful. Thanks from the bottom of my heart. So those are our Insiders panels. You can also foil these. So if you do foiling, they are toner printed and you can put them through your Mink machine. So,
You
one.
never have enough
Insiders. I know. That's true.
I love them.
So true.
So great. So easy to use.
Okay, so let me talk about one other thing that we haven't touched on yet. We're trying something new today, so let me show you the project that we'll be creating together. I should have lots of time to create, although I've gotten a little bit chatty this morning, so this is what we're going to be making. I mentioned making sets of note cards to gift to someone else. Can you guys guess who my recipient is for this lovely set of note cards? I did monogram the front of it just for her, and she happens to be sitting in the room with me. So
I can barely contain myself. I know who it is.
It's you, Whitney.
I'm so excited.
Oh, I know how much you love to send cards, and you're really good at it. I think that
I love it.
if you can be really good at something, you are really good at sending cards. I wish I could be really good at that. I don't know why the card sending is the hardest part for me, but my sister sends cards to so many people, and I wanted to give her some that she could send to her friends and just thank them for being who they are or for whatever reason. So this little set of note cards is packaged in one of our A2 clear card boxes, and it features some products, both new and old. Typically when I make a set of cards to give as a gift, I am making a set of 4. So let me pull these out here and show you. I have a couple that look similar with different thanks on them, and the large wreath that I did in fall colors. And then I have these 2 where I created a fun little edger on the front of the card. So the front of my card has a V cut into it, and then stamped the pattern of the plaid at the bottom of that card. So a couple of those with the smaller wreath. And then I decided to be a little extra, and I plaid patterned my envelopes to match, which I'll talk about today. I thought that was a fun touch. And then also, a lot of times when I'm creating note card sets, I want the recipient to have some ability to make a choice that works for them. So because all these cards are thank you cards, I decided a lot of times I will just put sentiments into the note card set that have adhesive already on the back, and people can pick and choose their sentiment. But since these are designed to be thank you cards, I am going to instead include one of each of the thank you insiders in this box, so that when Whitney wants to send her cards, all she has to do is adhere the panel into the card. And I can even put the adhesive on the back. We have our sticky tape, which has backing paper on it, and they can just remove the backing paper when they're ready to stick it on the inside. So that's how I plan to kind of make this able to be personalized for whoever is sending the card. But this is something new we haven't tried before, but today we decided to offer a project bundle. So this is, these are available on the website in our thank you category, and we're calling it Taylor's Live Bundle. So if you're looking for the majority of the products that I'm using in the projects today, you can find that in the bundle. The awesome part is it's on sale because a couple of the products happen to also be in our October Deals of the Month category. So these were previously released as our holiday kit. I believe not this past year, but the year before. Heather designed these wreaths and they are amazing, not only for Christmas cards, but today we'll be using them to create fall wreaths. So you have the stamp and stencil combo along with the coordinating dies. You get a set of the A2 clear card boxes. There are 5 boxes in here that you can use to package up your set. Then we have the Easy Edgers dies. As I mentioned, I used that V die to create the kind of unique edged card base on a couple of the cards. And then in the background and on my envelopes, I used the plaid background. So there it is. Those are available in a bundle, but you can also, if you already have some of the products and you want to pick and choose, you can also buy these individually as well. These are just the products that I'll be using in the project that we're creating today. So let's get started crafting. I'm gonna bring these back out so you can see again kind of where we're going. There's a couple of the cards. Again, I will be making a set of 4. So I've done some of the work ahead of time. We're gonna start with this. Got it upside down. 6x6 paper pack sugar cube. Oh, Carrie, thank you for calling that out. I have been thinking about everyone and just praying for everyone in the path of the storm this past weekend. So many just heartbreaking photos. Have you been seeing those on the news, Whitney?
Yes.
Just, if you live in that area, we are thinking of you, praying for you, looking for ways that we can support those communities as they start to kind of get through the brunt of the storm and figure out what's next. Okay, so we have this 6x6 piece here that I'm going to put down into my MISTI, and I am going to live on the edge and just let that be in the corner and not worry too much about my magnet. Looks like we have a question quick about how many cards fit in a box. A lot of that is dependent on how much you embellish your cards. If you're not using any foam tape and everything is glued straight to the card base, I would say you can fit probably 5 or 6 cards. Also dependent on whether you include envelopes or if they're just the cards. So envelopes take up a little bit of room as well. But I would say 6 cards without embellishment would fit nicely with envelopes in the set, in the card box. All right, so we'll be stamping this with Mocha. The joy and these little tidbits, the little other parts of the wreath are part of the stamp, but I'm only going to be using the wreaths, and so I'm just going to focus my inking down the diagonal of this stamp and not worry about the rest of it too much. I do want to make sure that I get the 3 alignment squares inked. And then we'll go ahead and press this down.
Heather illustrated this set last year, and I've been in love with it since then.
It's just so classic.
It is. It's so versatile.
I love a good wreath, and you can really make a wreath for any occasion just by changing the colors. Imagine these as Easter wreaths in the spring, or you can do bright summery colors. Of course, we're doing the fall wreath, and then the packaging pictures what it looks like with the Christmas wreath in greens with red berries. But lots of options for this one, which is probably why I've actually dug it out several times. We're always coming out with new stuff, but this is one that I have continued to revisit. All right, so then we're gonna go ahead and line up our stencil over the top here, and I'm paying attention to these alignment squares. I've talked about this before, how our stamps, they don't have, I guess they do experience shrinkage when we press the rubber, and that percentage of the shrink is not always the same. So it's not consistent every single time. We've dialed it into a certain number to get as close as we can. But in the cases where they may not meet up exactly, what I tell you guys to do is split the difference. So there might be a little bit of white down here and a little bit of white showing around the box up here. As long as you're not all in down here and way off down here. Hopefully that makes sense. And the die will work out perfectly as long as you keep your each stencil layer in the same spot as the first layer that you did. Okay, so we are going to take my ink stand, and I decided to grab green tea ink this time. This was a new ink color since we released this kit, so I figured probably not many of the samples. I'm going to go with none of the samples that you've seen use this color ink because it is new since we released this. So I'm just going to go ahead and blend the first layer of leaves onto the wreath. And I want to get a little bit of dimension on that, so I'm going to grab the coordinating color, which is Brussels Sprout. And I have my bitty brush for this darker green color that I'm going to pop in, kind of just at different spots around the outside of the wreath. Okay. Let's go ahead and take that layer off then. I'll save my little pieces. We can reuse that teal tape, which is one of the things I love about it. It stays sticky for a full crafty session. Okay, layer 2 then. I'll go ahead and lay that over the top, finding where my blended squares fit. And you can also pay attention to how it is looking with the rest of your piece that you've already blended. Now this time I'm going to use two different colors on this layer. I'm going to start with the Dijon. It's the lighter color, and then follow with the mulled wine. And when you mix these two together, you're going to get some variation of an orange color. So you get the best of all three fall colors with just two colors of ink.
Genius!
Woo! All right, so again, I want to concentrate my yellow portions in kind of 3 areas on the wreath. And these other spots are where I'm going to fill in with the mulled wine and do some overlapping to get a nice rusty orange color. Okay. Good enough for Dijon. Okay, so I'm going to kind of overlap a little bit down into the yellow parts, again, to get some of that orange tone into the wreath. But you don't want to cover up all of your yellow. You want some of that bright color to still pop through. think fall is a time typically where I start reading more books. So I've been wanting to ask for recommendations. Any big readers out there? I should say my particular genre of choice is like murder mystery type, fictional, whodunit, suspenseful type of stuff. And I've been reading, now I don't have my phone in front of me, but I've been reading a new author this fall that I have really liked. It'll come to me before the end of this, or maybe somebody else will say the same one and it will ring a bell.
I think that fall reminds me to go to the bookstore. I'm one of those people that like loves to go to the bookstore and smell the books and get a cup of coffee and like just relax.
Cuddle up on the couch. Yes. All right, so this is the third layer. This is our layer of berries. And for this layer, I decided to do something a little bit different with another product that we've since added to our collection. So if you haven't tried lunar paste with these wreaths, it is beautiful. Let me pull up my two samples here so you can see. The wreath on the left is the one that we are creating right now. These are the same colors that I did for you. And then the berries are refined copper lunar paste. Now, originally I tried this one, which I also like. So if you like the red berries, that color is Love Struck. And then instead of using the mulled wine on the wreaths, I just used Dijon and sweet potato pie. And then I let the red berries be my pop of red. So I am going to stick with this one. This was my favorite of the two. There's really not a ton of difference, but depending on which kind of paste you want to try, or maybe you already have one of the two, I used both refined copper and Love Struck lunar paste. You could also use Astro paste. I think the lunar paste is maybe a little bit more classy looking for fall. It's not shiny and glittery. It's more shimmery, maybe. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and take this out. Ooh, I'm getting lots of book suggestions. Hooray.
How exciting.
I'll definitely go back through and look at those later.
You'll have to hide in your room where your kids can't find you.
Yes.
And read.
My front room is where I hide so my kids can't find me and they're like, "Where's Mom?" Like, don't find me. Is someone injured? If not, all right. So I try to go in one direction when I apply this, just kind of scraping evenly over the top of the stencil. Whitney, I am going to hand this to you because if it doesn't get washed right away, I have noticed that it is difficult to get off of your stencils. So if you are doing this at home and you have a tub of water nearby or a sink that you can put it in. Okay, and also I'm going to do an Ask Me How I Know because I messed up one of these while I was creating them and the stencil shifted on me, or my paper underneath the stencil shifted while I was peeling the stencil up, and that will smear your paste. So just make sure your paper is down on your surface and not going to go anywhere before you pull that stencil up. Thank you, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's take a look at those. If I get that to the light, you can see the pretty shimmer of the copper berries and how nice they look with the pretty fall colors that we used in the wreath. Okay. You know what? Now that I'm getting all these book suggestions, I'm also wondering, is there some kind of app out there, or how do you guys categorize the books that you want to read? I feel like everybody gives book recommendations, and then do you just have like a list of notes, or is there an app that will catalog like, okay, here's your next read, and maybe you can like prioritize them? If this one I'm really excited about, this one I want it to stay on my list, but maybe for later. I need all the book readers out there to tell me all the things, because I feel like I could do better with keeping track of that. And it's kind of like keeping track of your craft supplies. We all need an app for that, right? Or some kind of system. I know a lot of you just do kind of the notebook. I've seen your notebooks filled with details. Okay, let's do some plaid stamping. So I did stamp these ahead of time. This is Sugar Cube cardstock, or I'm sorry, Sugar Cube ink on toffee cardstock. These are gonna be my backgrounds. And I added these diagonal stitched rectangle stacklets. That is not in the bundle because it is a basic that you can leave off, or you might already have, or can replace easily with something else. But it does add just a little bit of texture in there. Okay, good. It sounds like there's a Goodreads app. I will do that. Look that one up. Okay, so then I want to stamp some of the inside of my cards with the plaid so that when we create the V in the top of this, you have that plaid that shows through from the bottom. And then I also mentioned earlier how I created the plaid flaps on my envelopes that are going to go in the set. I think it's those little details that really make the project kind of special and stand out, especially when you're giving it as a gift. So I'm going to take the plaid background stamp. This one is also new since we released this wreath set. So I really tried to grab some things that maybe you haven't seen with this particular set yet. I'm going to place that down into my MISTI. I am placing it down at the bottom because my envelope then is going to come here at the top and we're going to stamp the flap. So if you position it too high up, it'll just make it more difficult. So we're going to go ahead and stamp this with toffee. I'm really just going to go across the top here of the stamp because I want to stamp that down onto my grid paper, and that is going to give me a line for where to position my envelope flap. So you can see there's a score line on your envelope. We're going to follow that line, and if you have a pencil, you can even continue that line out towards the side a little bit more, and that's because the pattern actually covers up the whole stamp. You want that line to just line up with your score line of your envelope. And I'll go ahead and place that down with my magnet. And I'm going to do tone on tone, so I'm using toffee envelope with toffee ink.
Thanks for doing this for me.
Yes!
Should I send you a thank you card?
Yes, I fully expect one of my cards back. No, please don't send me my card back. All right, there's one. I've got a couple places here that could use a little bit extra, so I'll go ahead and put that ink on one more time. I don't know when this comment came in, but Beth said she loves the bundle. Not sure if you're talking about the thank you bundle or Taylor's live bundle, but if you are enjoying the live bundle, we would love to hear if that's something you'd like to see more of. We are just trying it out for the first time. Okay, let's go ahead and do the next one. And again, we'll line up that crease of the envelope with the line that we created on our stamp background. So we know it's going straight across there. Hey Whit, could you get me the Stampers Spritz, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Kind of working one step ahead in my brain and realized I don't have the Stampers Spritz, but I do have my Clean Sweep. So that's good.
That is perfect for this stamp.
Yes, it is. It's like a really detailed stamp that has a lot of little nooks and crannies. Yeah. And I want to get it clean before I stamp with the next color, which is going to be Brussels sprout. All right, there's our little plaid flapped envelope. Love that. We have 2 in toffee. And now we're gonna do a couple in Brussels sprout. So you will notice that these are triangle flaps. Some of our envelopes are triangle, some are square flaps. So just pay attention as you're buying if you really want one over the other. We don't have both triangle and square in all the colors, so it kind of varies. And the background stamp does stretch the full length of the triangle flap. So let's get this cleaned. We're just going to take our Stampers Spritz. And my clean sweep tool. This is our new cleaning tool that has these little bristles on the bottom. You can remove these Velcro pads and you can wash them when they get too dirty. We also have replacement pads for them, so you can always have a fresh one when you're ready to clean. And then our cleaning solution that I use for our inks, it does have a little bit of an oily, I guess an oily residue, I would call it. So after I clean it, I just kind of tap it off with the baby wipe just to get it nice and squeaky clean for the next color. So let's lay that down. I will say that I don't pattern all of my envelopes. This is something I do for special things like gifts. So if I'm just sending a card in the mail, sometimes I don't get the patterning done, but I love the way that it looks. And it's not hard. I probably would do more of it if I maybe picked a generic pattern and just did the whole pack of envelopes ahead of time. Maybe stenciled or stamped polka dots or something on the flap. But it is fun to be able to coordinate it with the cards. All right, there's that one. I love seeing all the conversation happening about reading and library jobs, and it's awesome.
Someone said their father was an avid reader, and he used to get books from the library and would put a small check mark on page 100 so that he could remember. Yeah, he could check to see if he had read it yet.
Oh, funny. So you'd go back to the library and just look at page 100, and if there was a check mark, then he knew he'd read it.
Yes.
That is great.
I love that.
Because I think I do forget what books I've read too sometimes, because some of the plot lines can sound fairly similar, but yeah, that's a great idea. I love that. And now you can probably go back to the same library and find his check marks on books.
I love that. Reading is such a special hobby. I mean, my daughter loves it.
Yes,
It's
Izzy
so
is
fun.
such a reader.
She does. She reads. She eats books for dinner.
I'm hoping to get my kids there. Maddie's in a phase where she's very self-conscious about her reading. They have to do read-alouds at school, and it's a stressor for her. So we're going through a little bit of that, where reading is supposed to be fun and enjoyable and not stressful.
Yes.
All right, so let's go ahead and do our foiling so that we can put these cards together. I'm kind of still waiting on my panel. Let's just test that out so you guys can see here. It is a little bit, I would just call it a little bit damp. It's not messy to where if I rub over it, it's not gonna smear, but I wouldn't put it through the die cut machine just yet. So we're gonna hold off on die cutting those, and let's do our foiling of our all together thanks. Pull my mini mink into the frame here. And I am going to do a 3 for my setting. We'll let that get heated up, and I'll pull out my 2 products that I'm going to be using, and one of them is the Foil It panel. This is the Altogether Thanks with those alignment squares then that line up with the coordinating die. As you place that over the top, you just see how your sentiments fall into place. Your 2 little dots there also fall nicely into place. So we'll do that. We'll do the die cutting after we do the foiling. I'm going to be foiling these with the TE Fun Foil Champagne color. And I have my big giant scissors here. I made sure to grab that because I don't love, I call it hacking at your foil. I like to just make a couple of long strides through the foil and not have to do a bunch of little cuts. So there you have that. I'm gonna roll this back up. I shared this last time. I kind of put the top on before I put this back in, just to keep it from kind of smushing the foil when I put the top on. All right, we're still heating here. So I have my carrier sheet, my 6x6 carrier, and our Foil Magic shim that helps to conduct the heat from your machine all the way through to your cardstock. I'm going to cut a little bit excess off here at the bottom so it fits in a little bit better. Place that with the foil pretty side up, and then folded side of the carrier sheet goes into the machine first. I want to find, will you go get my phone over there? Yes. I want to look up, I have like 2 seconds while this is going through, but I thought I would look up the book that I read recently to see if anybody else has suggested it, because I sent it to my other book reader, Jill Hawkins. She also reads lots of kind of mystery suspense books, so we're always sharing those. Oh, I guess it's not a new author. It's just a new book to me. I read Lisa Gardner. It's a Frankie Elkin, Before She Disappeared. Yeah. And then I just finished One Step Too Far. That was the one I just read. One Step Too Far. And then the one that I'm reading now is Before She Disappeared. So Lisa Gardner. I've read her before, but this is a new series that she wrote. Okay. Sue asked if it matters if the shim is on top or below. We always put the shim below. So yes, I would put the shim on the bottom of your sandwich, if you will, and then followed by paper and the foil. Then when you pull it out, I usually let it cool off. It can be kind of hot to the touch when you first pull it out. So just kind of let it cool off to where it's back to kind of room temperature, and then we can peel the foil back to show our beautifully foiled sentiments. Look at those. Amazing.
Woo-woo!
So many colors in our collection that you can use the foil with. And I will bring in my die machine now, and we can cut these out.
I love that this die makes those little tiny hearts.
The little
flowers.
Extras.
I always say I need more of those doodly boops. The little things you put on your cards. You know?
Well, this die gives you the doodly boops, and you might not know what to do with them at the time, so put them in one of our simple storage for tiny things cases, and then you can come back and use a bunch of doodly boops on a future card. Or if they work into your card you're making, by all means. I could have put a few hearts in my wreaths. All right. I am actually going to go ahead I should have shared this before I went through, but metal shim would be great for these more intricate die cut pieces up here in the thanks, where you kind of have a lot of spots where they go up into the letters. I am finding, and maybe it's just my machine is getting old and tired, but I am finding that a metal shim is helpful for this particular die. So I'm going to send it back through before I peeled it apart. And now you can see some of those are just kind of falling out for me. I don't have to really tug or try hard to get them out of the paper. And then you can see those little doodly boops that Whitney mentioned. We've got the few little hearts in there. The flower is right here. That's kind of staying stuck for now. Let's peel this off.
A lot of people love Lisa Gardner.
Oh, good. Okay. I know she's written a lot of books, and this was just a new series that I happened upon. So, okay. Let's just leave these right on here. And we'll go ahead and put together one of our, oh, no, we're going to take these off. I think we're going to go ahead and cut our wreath now. I wonder if we have a piece of typing paper, since I will never be able to call it anything else. This is what I like to do if I'm ready to do some die cutting, but I'm just not totally positive that whatever the medium is that I've used is dry. I will a lot of times line up the die and then cover it with a little bit of printer paper, typing paper, if you would like to call it that, right along with me. I'm going to cut off these edge pieces that we don't need. And then this die is all connected together as one piece. This was really important to us when we created this set, because a lot of times it's difficult to line up wreaths. I don't know how many dies I've had where I've twisted and turned and turned and turned to find out where it lines up. Well, with these, you don't have to twist at all. You just line up those alignment squares and tack the die into place. And it's going to cut out the centers of the wreaths for you as well. Now this is where I was talking about grabbing a little piece of printer paper. If you don't want to get your plates kind of icky and you think that your stuff might not be dry yet, or the pressure from the machine might transfer to your nice top cutting pad, I just put a thin piece of paper on top and then we'll run that through. And we'll see if we were dry. Looks like we were dry. I didn't get any transfer of that lunar paste that we applied. All right. I have some others that I did ahead of time so I could finish off my full set. So here's a bunch of wreaths. They are not hard or time consuming to do. While I have my die cut machine, why don't I quickly walk through how I created this fun little edged piece with the Easy Edger dies. I have those here, and these are designed to create fun edges for your cards. You can use them at the bottom of a vertical card, at the side of a horizontal card. They do stretch all the way across a mini slim as well. So I'm going to use this one that has the fun little stitching marks on it. So this one comes with the etches along with a cut line. And we'll go ahead and put that onto an orange. This is sweet potato pie is the card base. And I'm going to move this up and grab my card maker's ruler. So we have the distance here is actually, I'm going to do this one first. Where did that go? Here they are. Okay, so I pre-stamped these. And these are 4 by 5 1/4, so I can take my card maker's ruler and I can stretch that starting at 1 and over to 4. I can split that in half. I'm going to go about an inch up from the bottom. And that's how I know that the point of my die should be right at the 2. And that's going to make sure that your point is centered on your card. So we'll do that one. Okay, so we have that piece. Now, if we take our card base, we can place this down. And then in this case, I'm going to move my tape so that it's on the bottom edge of my die. And then with this just kind of in place so that I can still take it away. I don't want to tack it down just yet, but I'm going to hold it in place and then position this die onto my card base in the same spot, just like that. And we're going to tape that down to the card base and pull away this piece. Did you catch that? So that's going to make sure I can layer that piece right on top of this piece. And then we'll send the card base through, making sure you opened up your card base so you're not cutting through both layers. You only want the top to be cut off. So then this fits right down on here, perfectly spaced, and you can stamp your plaid tone on tone so that shows through the bottom of the card. And that gives you a little unique element. Okay, let's move this big guy out of the way and then we can get to assembling one or two of the cards. This one I am going to do a full panel of the plaid. This one I'm not cutting down. And then we're going to do one of the large wreaths. I'm also using some burlap twine. I did that on the large wreaths to make them look like they're hanging from the top of the card. So I just take a little bit here and cut that off. Cut that in half. And then basically I want 4 strands. So I just folded the strings until I got 4 strands all together. And then I'm gonna take those and actually I don't need to fold it in half again. I just need to go ahead and put this one. Let's find where I wanna hang this. I think right about here. And I'm gonna put 2 of the burlap pieces through here. And then we're gonna come out like this. So now that I have it in the spot where I want it to hang, I'm going to take a little piece of foam tape and just tape right over the top of that. Of course, make sure it's straight. You want your wreath to hang straight. And we can take a bunch more foam squares and place them on the back of the wreath. All right, now we're gonna take this as if it's hanging from our card. I'm gonna get my foam tape ready. This time I'll be using a larger piece. This is our 1x3 foam strips. And I'll pull one of these off and have it kind of ready. And we're gonna position this where I want it, a little bit up from center. And then wrap those around the back. And then I'm going to place my foam tape on the back right over the top as well. So now we just need to remove the backing pieces from the foam adhesive here. And tack it down. Oh, Jamie, good question. Are you also die cutting the insiders with that edger? Good catch. And I actually caught that as I was thinking about including these insiders for the recipient to add to their cards as they desire. And if you do these fancy edged designs, you would want to take your insider likely and determine where to cut that so that the inside, so that you don't lose your cool pattern here at the bottom. It doesn't look quite as fun with the white. So I guess if I was making this for someone else, I would probably, I did already make it for you, Whitney, but I can cut whichever edgers you want for you. But if I was giving this to someone else that I expected them to put them in, I might just make this one layout and not do the cut in on the card base. You could also make it so that the front of your card base just looks like this. So this one just has you could just layer this piece on top of your card base so that you still have a full card base and you didn't cut into your card panel. So some of those tips might be easier if you're planning to gift this, so that they can have an easier choice when it comes to which insider they would want. Okay. And this bottom one isn't quite big enough, so I'm going to have to cut this in half to go along the bottom. I found when I was matching up or pairing up the foiled sentiments to go with the wreaths, this probably doesn't need to be said, but never hurts to over communicate. I found that the longer sentiments worked better on the larger wreath, and then there are two that are kind of smaller, not as wide or long. Those two work better on the smaller wreaths. This one as well, which I didn't use that one on my set. And then these longer ones I reserved for the bigger wreath. Do I have, oh, good thing I checked. I had my card base upside down. We should have a raise your hand if you've never done that. Never glued a card on upside down. All right, so that thanks again stretches nicely across. I can take and just add a little bit of liquid glue on the outsides. If you want to save yourself from the sagging in the middle of the sentiment, then take a little extra piece here, and let's see, if I cut this in half, I think I can get a couple little pieces that will sit in the center of my A, and then over here. So liquid glue on the outside that's going to sit on top of the wreath, and then a little bit of foam tape for the inside. Let's go with thanks. And then you're the best. I like that one. Okay. Cut these in half again, and I can use a couple of halves to put on the back towards the center. Actually, I think I'm just going to do one to hold up that middle part. Add a little bit of glue on the outsides. Looks like Nima got on board with calling them doodle boops as well. Doodly boops. All right, thanks, you're the best. There it is. All right, well, I'm not going to create the rest of the cards for you, but you saw me do some of that mass production as we were creating today. I've got all of my pieces ready to finish up the cards. And then when you go to decorate your box, there are of course a lot of ways you can do this. I created an extra small wreath, and in order to monogram it for Whitney, I used our stitched alphabet die that I just placed right in the center of the wreath. I forgot to say about the tying of the bow. I think the bows add a lot to these projects, and so I usually take another probably too long piece, more than I need. But when you're tying a bow, wouldn't you rather have more than you need than not enough? That's the worst. Okay, so I do a double-stranded bow, which means I have 2 strands of burlap, and then I create what I call a bunny ears bow. And I make 1 bunny ear, and then I wrap that around, and I go through like, well, this would be the shoelace tying method. So go around and through. Now, if you want the bunny ears method, that one is to create a bunny ear and a bunny ear, and then take this bunny ear and tie it around like you would a shoe. I didn't give myself quite enough string to do that type of a bow, but I'm gonna do just my regular shoelace bow here. I'm not even sure if I'm in frame. And then once you get it around, you can tighten and then kind of loosen each end until you get it sized the way that you want it, and then give it a nice tug so that it's nice and tight. In order to put these on my project, then I will set it here and cut the ends how I would like them. And then I just use a little drop of liquid glue that's going to dry clear. And just place that right over the top. And that's how I did this bow too. And then I took our sticky tape, created this card front panel, and then just adhered it to the outside of the box in order to decorate the front with something fun. All right, so there we have it.
Forever.
No, you have to send it.
I'm gonna sit that box forever.
Oh.
Is it a refillable box? Do you refill?
Oh, is that what we're doing now? Yes. Free refills on your gift. I love that. Do any of you have free refills arrangements with friends or family members where you just kind of refill their card box as necessary? I know a lot of you love to give in that way, and so I think it's a really fun way to, again, share joy. We don't always have endless people to send the cards to ourselves, but when we start to involve other people in sending handmade cards, I think it just spreads the joy even more. So, all right. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. I mentioned Susan would be live on Thursday. She'll be creating projects using our freebie die of the month, which is the teeny cards. So mark your calendar for that, and I will plan on seeing you guys. Oh, I should mention this.
What?
We have something different this week. I will also be seeing you Thursday night. So if you, whether you received our fall mini mag or not, we will be having a live event that is open to everyone to view. It will be Thursday night, and we'll be walking you through the contents of that magazine. Those of you who received the magazine have a coupon code on the back of it. Those of you who did not receive the magazine, you can still join in and participate. We will be offering a digital version of that magazine that just doesn't include the coupons. So please tune in Thursday night. It's going to be fun. I'll be here with Whitney and with Sue. You guys are going to get a chance to meet Sue for the first time, and she'll be walking us through some of the projects that she designed for this mini mag. So if you're loving those, come and get all the tips and tricks on how to do fun and unexpected things on your fall projects this year. So Thursday at 10 with Susan, and Thursday evening at 7 Central Time with Sue and Whitney and I. So we'll see you a couple times later this week. Have a good one.